Good morning and welcome. Today we'll discuss the effects of cyberbullying, look at the car bash, and take a ride out to the Nacogdoches Rodeo and Steer Show here on Jack Talk. The semester is a stressful time for anyone in college. Prior to spring break, SFA students got to take some of their midterm frustrations out on a donated car. The event was hosted by Driving Jacks and one of the fraternities here on campus. We sent a crew out to cover the event.
For a piece to take a sledgehammer to it. The people over at Driving Jacks were nice enough to team up with us today, and we're going to donate all the proceeds to them to help their great cause.
Great. Mid-semester aggression. It's awesome.
How did it feel?
Good when you fail a test.
How did it feel?
That felt good.
Axum Jacks.
Our very own Jason Switlick helped put on the event. Jason, tell us about the car bash.
Well, the Car Bash is a philanthropy event for Tau Kappa Epsilon. Somebody usually donates a car, and we take it out and put it on campus and charge $1 for every 3 hits. And, you know, it's right around midterms, so students are very stressed out. You know, we all are. And that's a chance for them to, you know, work out their aggression in a more constructive way than what other people do.
And where do the proceeds go?
All the proceeds go to Driving Jacks. So, I mean, it goes to them so they can provide safe rides, you know, on the weekends and throughout the week.
Okay, so what is your position in TKE?
Tiki. In TEAK, I'm the president of TEAK right now. So I set up a lot of this. That was pretty stressful, honestly. It was because, you know, just to get people to help out, you know, all the time, and it was stressful, but it was worth it in the end because I got my free hits on the car.
So what was the process for it?
The process was, I mean, it's kind of long, but just because everything you do with the school, you have to get permits, you have to get, you know, let the security guys know, let the safety guys know. So first we had to get the car, of course, and then we went to the safety office to reserve a spot right there by Surf and Steve, and that that took about a week to get approved because they have to go through everything and make sure nobody's scheduled anything that day. And we finally got it approved, and we set up the car. We got it towed. One of the towing companies in town towed the car for free to and from the campus, so that helped out a lot, especially with costs.
So whose car was it before you guys smashed it?
Well, usually it's a car donated by the towing company because they tow so many cars and impound so many cars that they have an extra car they can spare, especially that goes towards, you know, charity and whatnot, or philanthropy. But yeah, it was actually one of our actives this time. Christian Semler, he totaled his car. I mean, he pulled out of our driveway or something, and some guy clipped him, and it was a big wreck. So it was sitting at our fraternity house, and he wanted to. I mean, I wanted it out of the way because it just looked like an eyesore. So he actually donated it to the event.
It was actually a pretty interesting event because I actually stopped by the T Car Bash one day. I was actually working on a treatment for one of my screenwriting classes, and I was just so infuriated with it. So I just went by and I just saw these kids just bashing the heck out of a car, and I was just like, "Wait, really? Are they actually doing this?" And so one of the members of Tau Kappa Epsilon was like, "Here, you can use 3 bashes for $1." I was like, $1? So I just pulled out the dollar and I just took out my anger. It was great.
You just let all your frustration
Oh,
out.
absolutely. I mean, that's for like everyone, you know.
It really is a great way, especially. I mean, there's no glass in the car, but we actually have to, take that out. But
that takes the fun out of it, though.
Exactly, but it's just for safety reasons. But it's still a lot of fun. I mean, because you can break the spoiler or break the bumper off, something crazy.
So how much money did y'all raise?
It was actually $116, which isn't a lot, but that'll probably fill up 3 gas tanks one Friday night. That will save possibly, I mean, you can't really put a price on life.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so how did you guys get together with
Driving
Jacks?
Yeah, well,
Driving Jacks to do this.
It started about 5 years ago. One of our active members was actually the president of Driving Jacks at the time, Hector Pineda, and he wanted to start it out. I mean, he saw it somewhere at another campus and thought he could bring it here. And he thought, what better philanthropy to give it to than Driving Jacks, because he was the president at the time. So
what else do you guys do? What other kind of philanthropy do you do?
We have 3 major ones. I mean, Car Bash, it doesn't make a lot of money, but it's the principle behind it. Mm-hmm. But we also have Pushing for St. Jude and Pushing Back the Flames. It's You go out and we set up, a tent similar to the Car Bash, just without a car. But we do push-ups. For every push-up we do, somebody donates 50 cents.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And we also do Miss Greek, which is our biggest philanthropy event. It's like a beauty pageant for all the Greek sorority sisters, and they come out, and that all donates to Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and that's our biggest fundraiser.
How often is the Car Bash? Is it every semester, or is it only once?
From now on, we're going to start doing it every semester.
semester.
I mean, usually we do it every spring, but now we're going to start doing it every semester.
All right, well, Jason, thanks for telling us about it. When we come back, Pastor Stanley King will join us to give a little more information about the Impact Cowboy Church and the Nacogdoches Rodeo.
Welcome back to Jack Talk. Last Thursday, the Impact Cowboy Church helped start off the Nacogdoches Rodeo and Steer Show. We sent a crew out to learn more about the Cowboy Church.
Hi, I'm Pastor Stan King with Impact Cowboy Church. We've been going on 6 years now. We started in 2007. For the message that we're trying to get out for the rodeo is that God loves everyone, even the people that don't feel like they're worthwhile saving. Most of the people that come to this church have negative attitudes in the past, and so what we do is we take them in and we show them that God loves each and every one of them. Basically what we do is we're able to use the influence that we have in the community to be able to reach out to our like-minded people. So what we have the opportunity is we find people throughout the community that need donations, need money to be able to help. And so we basically use it as an opportunity to help with fundraising for groups that need money This year we're using a group called Impact NAC, which is an organization that raises money for foster care kids, taking care of their medical needs, taking care of their food needs, their clothing needs, their eyeglasses, things like that. When they get taken from a home to put into a foster care system, a lot of times they leave without having anything with them at all. So this group helps take care of their immediate needs.
Joining us in the studio today, we have Pastor Stan King. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
So first of all, we would like to ask you, how long have you been a pastor?
I've been ministering for about 14 years, but I've been at Impact Cowboy Church for 6.5 years.
Okay, and the Cowboy Church term, is that something that you came up with, or has it been around for a while?
No, the Cowboy Church scene itself started back in the probably the 70s, but recently has kind of gotten really popular within the area because more of the laid-back environment and how we treat people and deal with the community.
Okay, and sorry.
How is it different than just your average I mean, like, you know, a different, because whenever we went, it was a lot different than what I'm used to.
Right. When you go to a Cowboy Church, generally speaking, they're a lot more laid back. People wear jeans, shorts, tennis shoes, flip-flops, just about anything. All different walks of life. We have people that come in and they're looking for some place that's not like the norm. Some of them are coming from all different walks and backgrounds, and they've kind of come to find out that that wasn't what they wanted, or they feel uncomfortable there. When they come to us, they can walk into a place where they feel comfortable. They feel like they're a part of a family and they can relate to us.
So it's very relaxed, and there's, you know, not a strict dress code that's enforced, which is, yeah, that makes you feel more welcome.
Our sermons are a lot different. Went to seminary for almost 8 years, and I had to forget all that. You know, and now we just speak straight to the people and where they're at on an everyday basis. They need to know straight up. They don't want a fancy word. They cannot understand that. They want something straight up to their life.
So how did you incorporate how did you start the rodeo? Like, how did you guys get involved with that?
Well, it got to the point where the rodeo, it was always here in town. It's a great draw for people. And I'm always looking for a way to reach out to the community and be able to help, because I believe that if a church doesn't help the community, then there's really no reason for it to be there. And so we started seeing there were so many causes out there that could be made use for. So we'd find one organization a year, and we would basically decide to support them. So we approached the Nacogdoches Rodeo and see about buying out the opening night, which was generally a low attendance, and they were only having about 800 people a night showing up. So we would buy out the opening night and make it affordable for people to come for donations, and then we take the money from the donations and put it toward that organization for that year.
Okay, and what is the organization that the rodeo helps support?
This year we actually was able to bless an organization called Impact NAC. And what Impact NAC does is they take all the needs for the children that are in foster care. And our church really supports foster care a lot. I've even adopted out of the foster care system myself. So that money goes for their eyeglasses, their health care, clothes, and any kind of medical needs that they have.
How much did y'all raise this year?
This year we were blessed. We were able to raise $3,500 for them.
And that's just Thursday night?
That was just for Thursday night.
Wow.
There was a lot of people there.
Yeah, when we went, we saw a lot of people Thursday.
They expected between 2,800 and 3,200 people there.
So how many did you guys actually get there?
Between 2,800 and 3,200.
Did y'all? Was there a lot of your church showed up, and did y'all work? Y'all worked the event, correct?
We worked the event. We had basically what we did is we sent out word to all of our church members and all the people within range of the Nacogdoches area to come that night. And so a lot of them don't go to church at all. So it's an awesome opportunity for us as a church to outreach to people that don't go to church. And so most of the people that come to the rodeo, they're just average blue-collar kind of people. That's who we minister to. So that's who we reach.
What did you do during the rodeo? Because, I mean, I know we saw you everywhere.
Basically, anywhere that I can be with the people to be able to encourage, to talk. My job is to help train other people to do what I do. And a pastor that works himself out of a job is a successful pastor. So if I can find somebody that needs a little encouragement, a little help, then I'll walk over there and help them. But now this year was the first year that I didn't have to do everything. I had everybody else doing it. So I got a chance to walk around and enjoy the show.
So what was your favorite part? I know mine was the mutton busting. That was so cute.
Mutton busting for me is probably my favorite part, because when you see the children coming out of the gates, and they're holding on to that sheep for dear life. It's their first introduction, and rodeo needs to have that younger generation involved. So for us, it's about mentoring that younger generation.
I loved it because I loved seeing their faces when they were walking. They were terrified, you know, having to hold hands. And then once they were done, it was like they, you know, were so proud of themselves.
It's the one time a year that these children can really get out there and do something. It doesn't cost them anything except a little time. And the attention they get out of it is phenomenal.
So how many of your members are involved in actually, like, I guess you could say, riding the bulls? And
very few. Matter of fact, most of our guys for the church, although we love to rope, we love to bull ride, we love to do a lot of those things, as we get older, that's a young man's sport. And so what we try to do is we try to help mentor and to help that younger generation. But now what we use is the rodeo to outreach to those people that don't rodeo, because it is a draw for people to come see. And so basically we get a chance to minister to those people that come to see that.
There were riders from, I saw one from California.
I saw one from Australia.
How did you guys get them out here?
Well, we didn't get those. That's a PRCA rodeo, which is Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association. And they're basically, those cowboys that come, they travel all over the world riding in these rodeos. And so what they do is they find rodeos that basically have a good attendance. They'll go and they'll compete and hopefully win some money.
Now, back to the church, I want to ask you, how many members do y'all have?
About 250 people.
Oh,
And
that's good.
when did y'all get started in the Nacogdoches area?
About 6 years ago. And October 7th would be our anniversary mark.
What did y'all, how many members did you start with?
6 people.
6.
6
Wow.
people in a
Wow.
double wide house trailer.
Including you, 6 including you.
Yes.
Wow.
Did you gain any more members after the rodeo?
Generally speaking, it usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks afterwards to really know. But every year that we do it, we usually pick up about 10 to 15 families out of it.
That's so cool.
Wow.
Good deal.
So it's definitely worth it then.
Tremendously. I mean, for us to be able to walk out and minister, when I have a chance to ride out on the horse and be able to minister a 5 to 10 minute message in the arena, we're the only church in Nacogdoches County that can minister to that many people at one time. And so when we get a chance to be able to talk to these people, it's awesome to make the relationships.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What kind
definitely.
of, besides, I saw there was music in the video, what kind of other things y'all do at the church during service?
We're building, right now we're building our own arena so we can be able to do things there. And we'll be able to outreach to the community there, but normally praise and worship, it's just like at any other church that you would ever go to. We have our children's ministry department, we have our youth department, we have just about anything that you can imagine, but we are able to do so much more.
What you said the arena? What is that? What is that? Is that just where the service is? Or?
No, the arena is where we actually have the rodeo events itself. The church sanctuary, it's a metal red and white building, which y'all saw when y'all came out for the video. But it's big enough for about 300 people, and we're fixed to be needing more.
Good luck with that. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we discuss cyberbullying and some of its effects on victims. Keep it here on Jack Talk.
Welcome back. Right now we are going to discuss cyberbullying and its effects. Cyberbullying is defined as any negative action taken towards another person via the internet. One of the many effects result in suicide. As our society interacts more and more via the internet, these acts of negativity have grown. Well, guys, I want to open now to the panel joining me. Kyle, what does cyberbullying happen?
Well, cyberbullying happens mostly, of course, it's on the internet, but it focuses more on social networking websites such as Facebook and Twitter, and it happens on internet blogs, if they're posting about, gossip about celebrities, or, just, blogs in general, That's where most of it happens.
Do you think cyberbullying is the worst form of bullying, or is it,
Well, for me, like, any kind of bullying is the worst form, but, like, just with cyberbullying, it's like, you're trying to, go home and just, rest up and you're checking your Facebook, and then all of a sudden, you see people just, talking, bad about you, and, it hurts. I mean, I've never really had, any experiences with cyberbullying, but you know, I just think it's probably the worst.
It's something completely different than like what we're used to, because you know, back when we were kids, you had a bully at school and then you went home and that was it, you know?
Now you now they
Now,
go home.
Now you
yeah,
go
it's
home
like
and
now
it's
they
there.
follow you.
Have to live with it.
Yeah.
Really.
Have you guys ever been cyberbullied? I know we're a little old, but
You know, back in the day, I think there was, what were we on, AOL, Instant Messenger?
Oh,
Yeah, back when
yes,
AOL
AIM.
was popular.
Kids got pretty mean on there. I'm not going to lie. I mean, not to me, I'm just saying like in general.
how do you think
Girls
you would handle
especially.
it? Well, yeah, I read that girls are they're more.
Yeah,
they're
the
bullied
girls are a lot more mean,
Yeah.
and see
Catty.
and I remember hearing a story from, you know, the Dallas-Fort Worth area where this girl was being bullied by someone else's mom. Like their mom had gone and
Wow.
made a Facebook and was bullying this, you know, child. And so that's why I think it's completely different than anything we're used to, because now it's, you know, someone who you don't even you know, it's like someone not your own age.
Yeah, that really strikes me because I can see like, you know, kids bullying other kids, but I can't see like adults bullying kids. Like that's like out of nowhere. That's like unreasonable.
Have y'all ever known anybody that's been cyberbullied personally?
My little cousin, but I mean she's a little embarrassed, so she doesn't really talk about it much. But she went through her little chubby phase, and you know, kids are mean, and all on Facebook and all that. But you know, I helped her through it. I'm a good big cousin. She's better. I'm just glad she wasn't one of the situations where it ended pretty badly, because I know a lot of kids end up taking their lives after being cyberbullied, which it's not worth it, but it happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your peers are your biggest influences, and I mean, especially when you're growing up, going through, you know, those ripe ages, those 11 through 16.
Right.
You know, kids take a lot to heart.
Kyle, do you know of any? Do you have a story?
I don't know any personally, but you know, I've actually read stories last semester about this one girl. I don't know where exactly she was from, but her name was Amanda Todd, and she was basically forced to do stripping over the internet, and then she was basically blackmailed by what she did, and she was then cyberbullied because of it. And you know, it's kind of sad for her because, you know, just looking at the video she made and how, you know, it impacted, you know, most of the people who were cyberbullied, and then, you know, she just turns up, you know, not on Earth anymore. And then you got all these kids who just been cyberbullied so much that they just take their own lives, you know, and it's unnecessary. And then, you know, there should be help out there, you know. And I've actually found a couple of websites. There was one, stopbullying.org, and there's several others, you know, several from, you know, the New York Times and the LA Weekly, you know, people who just want to help and stop this, you know, once and for all. But I don't think that's going to be stopped.
It's also a crime now, though. You get arrested for cyberbullying.
As
Yeah.
it should,
Yeah.
it should, you know?
Now, do y'all think, how would y'all handle the situation if you personally were attacked via the internet?
First of all, if I was attacked via internet, I would try and go up to the person and like actually have a talk with
Attack
them.
them.
Right.
Yeah, and like I would rather have it face to face instead of them just hiding behind the monitor and just like, you know, typing their hate, because in my opinion, that is pure cowardice at its finest.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if this counts as cyberbullying, but back whenever we all had MySpace, this person created a MySpace, didn't know who it was, and then they were talking mean about my hair. Yes, I got criticized for my hair, and so I read it, and then my older brother saw it, and that ended very quickly after one. So I don't know if
Right.
that counts, but that's how I would handle it. Have an older brother.
Yeah, that was like probably phase 1 of cyberbullying.
Probably.
What would you guys do if your child came home and told you that they were cyberbullied? How would you handle that as a parent?
I mean, if my kid came home, and if I had kids, and my kid came home,
In the future.
and yes, in the future, if they came home and they were a victim of that, then I would, you know, first I would talk to the school, and then try and find out who it is and try and talk to their parents, because, I mean, there's no need for that, especially if, you know, it's in the news almost every day of cyberbullying, to where there's, you know, somebody takes their own life, somebody, you know, gets depressed, you know, starts suffering from that, it's not even worth it.
I mean, as I said earlier, you know, they should go look for help and actually, like, you know, go to some organizations, like, you know, some websites who are against cyberbullying, and then just completely stop it, you know? I mean, they have help for that kind of stuff.
But I mean, also at the same time, it's like you're not always going to know. You know, if you have a child and you're not going to you don't tell your parents everything. You know, and so it's like, how are they supposed to figure out that someone's, you know, virtually attacking their child?
Good question.
It's hard, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's getting even worse, you know, with all these new media outlets.
There's videos on YouTube, like fighting and all that stuff. It's ridiculous.
How do y'all think cyberbullying can possibly be stopped, if it can be? I mean, the internet
if
is
we could get in a
is
time machine and go back to 1990, maybe. I mean, I don't think it could be stopped, though.
If a time machine actually, like, works and has no malfunctions, then yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, but I mean, I
Right.
don't think you can stop it. I think you just raise your kids right. Like, raise them to not be a bully.
I mean, honestly, I think it definitely, back whenever Facebook and whenever you had to be in college or you had to be a certain age, I think that's my main problem, is that you can be an 11-year-old and have a Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's kind of the start, is you're 11, 12 years old, you have a Facebook, and so someone else does, and they're going to sit there and attack you.
I have a question. What would you guys do if your child was the bully?
I would,
I
have
would put
a
an end to
long
that.
sit-down talk with them.
Oh, I would put an end to that quickly.
I felt like that wasn't just a sit-down talk. What would you
Like,
do?
I would.
I don't think I should say what I would do. They would be in deep trouble.
cruel punishment. All right, well, thank you guys. That's all the time we have for today. I want to thank our guest, Pastor King, for joining us in the studio. Stay tuned next time for more Jack Talk.